Hello, welcome back to my channel, guys. It's Diva the Divine Light, and I'm going to continue the final chapters of Jerhonda Pace's book, Coming Forward, The Abused, by Jerhonda Pace. And the last that we left it off, that Jerhonda and Dominique had split up. And Jerhonda got tired of everything and decided to just leave those two women alone. And we are on the chapter, I think, number 20. And the name of the chapter is For the Last Time. The next day, Michelle texted me and asked me if I would watch Jalen. I love Jalen. I agreed to watch him. She asked me to get there around 4 p.m. I did just that. I was excited to hang out with Jalen. He was funny and loved telling stories. Dominique greeted me when I arrived. I said, "Hello," and went upstairs to sit on the couch. Michelle came out of her room and sat on the couch across from me. She asked if I was hungry. I wasn't. She then told me that the concert is tonight, and Dominique, to be able to surprise Gabe when he gets off work. I agreed to buy the tickets. She called Dominique upstairs. She came upstairs, and Michelle said, "Thank me later. What's the site for the tickets?" She said that Ticketmaster is sold out. I have to get them from StubHub. They're $1,200 each on there. Michelle said she must love you because I'm not paying that much money to see nobody in concert. I don't care if this was their retirement show. They both laughed. They both laughed and continued the conversations as if I weren't there. Dominique finally asked me for my card information so that she could buy the tickets. I handed her my card. StubHub is different. People sell tickets at whatever price they choose. Buying tickets the day of can be incredibly pricey. Once she purchased the tickets, she handed me my card and went downstairs without saying thank you. Michelle thanked me. Then she told me that she no longer needed me to watch Jalen, but I could spend the night if I wanted to. I didn't want to stay, so I went home. 2 weeks had gone by since I last talked to Dominique and Michelle. I hadn't responded to their messages or phone calls. I was seriously considering removing them from my Sprint account. I was tired of those two. All they did was use manipulation to get what they wanted. They always worked together. I was done with both of them. However, I had left my MacBook at their house, and I needed my laptop. I reached out to Michelle to see if I could come to get my laptop. She said that I could come anytime today. That was perfect. I was heading out that way to drop money off to Bubba. He too had started to borrow money frequently. After I dropped off the money, I headed to Michelle's house. Dominique opened the door and said that she needed to talk to me. It was urgent. We went downstairs to her room. As soon as it was closed, Dominique broke down. She was crying as she told me about how Rob forced her to have sex with another guy. Then he physically abused her after the fact. He went on to tell her how he didn't trust her because she's fucking other niggas. After he beat her, he put her out. Michelle tried talking to him. Everything was fine until she went back to his house. He beat her again, forgetting her mother involved with their relationship, and he put her out for good. Now, she's trying to prove her loyalty to him because her mom keeps asking for things. I hugged Dominique and held her close. I had no clue that this was going on with her. I told her that I'd be back. I had to use the bathroom. I went upstairs to use the bathroom because I hated the bathroom that was in the basement. When I came out of the bathroom, Michelle asked me if I wanted to go Christmas shopping with her and Dominique. I looked puzzled. I said, "Dominique's going shopping?" Before Michelle could answer, Dominique came upstairs fully dressed and ready to go. She looked completely different. She wasn't the same person that was crying on my shoulder less than 10 minutes ago. What the heck? Dominique asked if I would come with her. I agreed. I grabbed my laptop from under the couch and prepared to follow them. After shopping, I was going home. They both walked with me to my car, something that we hadn't discussed. Michelle mentioned that she was having trouble with her Dodge Durango and asked if I could drive to the outlet mall out south in Michigan City, Indiana. She directed me there. We shopped around for a few hours. We went to the fossil store so that Dominique could get her dad a watch. She asked me to help her pick one out. I saw one that stood out, though I didn't know her dad's taste when it came to watches. I thought the one I laid eyes on would be for sure to be the winner. Dominique agreed. The guy gift wrapped the watch. When he asked for payment, Dominique left me standing there as she explored other watches with her mom. I paid for the watch, handed her the bag, and told her that I'm not here as her form of payment. She smiled and said, "I know you're not, but you love me." Michelle called her spoiled and followed Dominique into the Coach store. I refused to buy anything else, and I was distant for the remainder of the trip. Neither of them purchased anything. Dominique drove back. I sat in the back seat silent. After making a food stop, we pulled up to their house after 11 p.m. I was sleepy as heck. I ended up sleeping over. I planned on waking up early and leaving the next day. Unfortunately, that did not happen. Wow. So, I guess after Jerhonda wound up getting that settlement from R. Kelly, she became the cash cow for Dominique and Michelle. They were using her according to what Jerhonda's saying. Allegedly, they used her. Wow. That's crazy. But she was in love with her too, so, this is crazy. Wow. I gotta light my spliff on that one. That's just deep. I woke up to the next chapter. The next chapter is Go On. I woke up to Michelle cooking breakfast. Food was my weakness. Of course, I was going to stay for breakfast. After brushing my teeth and taking a quick shower, I sat at the kitchen table and talked to her as she pulled the toast out of the broiler. Dominique came upstairs, grabbed her plate, and went back to her room. She had an attitude. Michelle didn't bother eating what she had cooked. Instead, she went to her room and watched TV, leaving me at the table alone. Jalen wasn't there. Once Dominique was done with her food, she came upstairs to watch TV with her mom. I went downstairs to gather all of my clothes and belongings. When I came up from the basement, Michelle was in the living room. She asked me if I was going home. I told her yes. She then said to me that she was going to text me something very important. I stopped at the gas station. That's when I got a text message from Michelle. She sent me a text message that read, Beats Solo headphones, Apple TV, Simba plush, Ugg boots, Ugg boots, barely button, and $1,000. Instead of responding to the message, I decided to call her. I didn't know what that list was. She said that it was Dominique's Christmas list. I told her that I wasn't buying anything for someone who didn't even talk to me. There was no point in that. She said she'd have Dominique call me. That call never happened. I went shopping for them. For the last time, I got everything that Dominique wanted, including the money. I took things back to Michelle's house, only for Dominique to continue her rude ways. She didn't speak or say thank you. Michelle asked me to put everything on Dominique's bed. I went downstairs to put the gifts on her bed. She stayed in her mom's room. Jalen came downstairs behind me and asked me if I was staying for dinner. I told him no, and today would be the last time that he sees me for a very long time. He asked if it was his fault, and I explained to him that he had nothing to do with it. I was just going to be busy, and I wouldn't have as much free time anymore. I hugged him, and I left. I didn't even tell Michelle that I was leaving. I knew that this was something that I needed to do for myself. I had to cut them off, no question. They were using me just as much as my family was. I no longer wanted to be involved. Next chapter, my toxic family. Cutting all communication with my toxic family was the best decision that I could have made. Though I've faced backlash for it, that didn't change my mind. Yes, I know that you only get one mother and father, but what happens when that one set of parents that you get is toxic? What do you do when your parents interfere with your inner peace? This was not easy for me. It's not something that I am proud of or bragging about. Not only were my parents toxic, but my siblings were toxic as well. I even cut communication with my grandma. When it first happened, I cried. It was hard for me. The people that I've known my entire life were no good for me or good to me. My father wasn't stable in my life due to him being in and out of jail. When he finally did gain stability in my life, he showed me all the wrong things. He was extremely abusive in his relationships. Even from, every form of abuse that you can think of, he did to his girlfriend at the time. For years, I bonded with whoever was his girlfriend at the time. Watched him abuse her, then leave her. When the settlement was reached between me and Rob, my mother signed off on it due to me being a minor. Boy, did she run her mouth. She told everybody. I still remember us being at the grocery store. I was on the phone with my grandma, and she asked to speak to her, which was rare because they hardly ever talk. I handed her the phone. The words that came out of her mouth shocked me. She told my grandma, "You know your granddaughter will be a millionaire when she turns 18? If looks could kill, the look I gave my mom is the look that would have killed her for sure." That was the beginning of the end. When it came to my mother, I watched her go through abusive relationships. She was a punching bag to almost every man that she dated. Growing up, I admired her strength. I never knew that was abuse. It was I had seen my entire life. It took a strong woman to accept those punches, be okay with cheating and raising children. That wasn't for the weak. I thought my mom was the strongest person ever. Over time, I accepted those same terms when I started dating. Though Rob was my only physical abuser, I accepted mental, emotional, and verbal abuse from people that I dated in the past. No matter what men did to my mom, she never let that affect her. She would still give her abuser the shirt off her back. I was just like her. No matter what you did to me, I would always give you whatever you asked of me. That's something that everyone around me took advantage of. It's also the reason why it was so hard for me to let go of my toxic family. My mom showed me that I could get anything that I want from a man by having sex. My grandma always told me to get it by hook or crook and never get with a man who offered me nothing but a wet ass. Nobody liked Dominique. Since the beginning of our relationship, my mom and grandma told me that she was using me. However, my mom was the same person that will say anything to get what she wanted out of me financially. For example, she used to come to me talking about Snoop to keep me from giving him money, but to give it to her instead. All of them did that. I came to realize this whole time I had been buying my family. If I wasn't spending money on them, they didn't care about me. I still remember when my husband and I went to my grandma's bingo party. My dad was there. I couldn't enjoy the party because he was begging for money the entire time. He followed me around the bingo hall asking for money. This was typical of him. Our relationship had turned into him asking for money all the time. He would call me to beg for cash, text me begging. Whenever I came to my grandma's house, he'd ask for money, etc. It wasn't one of those, "Do you have $20? I say no, and I'm left alone. If I said no, he continued to beg. The fact that my family didn't accept no when it came to my money, I stopped saying no. I just started doing what was asked of me because I was tired of looking like a bad person for saying no. I gave freely to whoever asked. Money brought them happiness, which brought me peace. Wow. Poor girl. Wow. Wow. So Jerhonda basically gave her money away. She spent it on her, but she gave most of her money away. That's what she did with the money that she settled with R. Kelly. Gave it away. Wow. Wow. You're brave. You're brave, brave woman. Oh, wow. Next chapter. Happiness. Life goes on. My traumas didn't define me. It showed me who I was and gave me the tools to be who I'm meant to be. I am a survivor. 4 years after I left Robert, I married Joseph. I didn't want a big wedding. We got married at the courthouse in Minot, North Dakota. That was the best thing we could have done. I didn't want my father there. I just wanted it to be us. A month after we got married, we found out that we were expecting our first child. The crazy thing is, we didn't have sex until marriage. I must say the timing was perfect. We talked about starting a family after marriage, and it happened immediately. That let me know that it was meant to be. My family was pissed. They were mad about me getting married, mad about me being pregnant. I couldn't catch a break. I spent my 21st birthday with my husband while I was away. My mom's door was kicked in and the house was raided. Snoop was a weed dealer. One of his customers worked with the police to take him down. Wow. However, they didn't find all that they were looking for. I stopped handing out money and moved out. I had a family now. There was no reason for me to stay home. My family didn't want me doing anything positive with my life. I didn't care much about that. What bothered me the absolute most was the fact that my mom abandoned my younger siblings. She ran off with my brother's friend. Now, they're living on the other side of town. She isn't involved in Jaden's life. He's 8 years old and autistic. This is hard on him. Ariana is 13 years old, and she doesn't have her mom there to teach her the essential things in life. Curtis is 16 years old now, and the best example he has for a man is Snoop. I don't understand how a mother can abandon her children. I called my mom out on her actions. My siblings got mad at me. If I were to write a book about everything that's going on in my family, my book would never end. This abandonment started years ago and is still going on. However, Snoop, TT are a part of the reason why my mom is so comfortable doing what she's doing. Life without her youngest kids, it must be nice. When the Lifetime docuseries Surviving R. Kelly aired, that caused significant problems within my family. My mom didn't want me to do it. That was something that she pushed so far to the back of her mind, and she wished to never deal with it again. Me speaking my truth made everyone mad. They didn't want to look bad. They were all bad. The documentary also brought back memories of my suicide attempts after leaving Rob. When people started harassing me and bullying me on social media for speaking my truth, I felt suicidal again. I remembered cutting my wrist because I couldn't handle life with Rob. I went through a stage of depression, and I tried to kill myself after that relationship ended. I told my godmother that I wanted to kill myself. She told me that I didn't want to kill myself. What I was doing was crying out for help. She reminded me that people who want to commit suicide do it. She wanted me to get help. People who talk about committing suicide are the ones who want to get help. There's a chance to save them. She was right. I told my mom how I was feeling. She took me to the hospital and said to me that whatever I tell them, she's not responsible. They're going to take me to a crazy house, drug me. I'll never see them again, and it would be out of her hands. I didn't get help. At the hospital, when the police came in to question me, I told them that I was lying and that I was seeking my mom's attention. Once we left the hospital, we never talked about it again. I didn't speak to Dominique about it. We talked for hours about how we were a part of a suicide pact with Rob. And if anything were to happen to him, we were supposed to take some white pills that'll kill us. What my mom had done to me is what Michelle did to Dominique. She wasn't allowed to get the help that she needed. Oh, so Dominique was part of that suicide pact. Oh boy, Dominique, I wish you can talk. I wish you would talk, baby. I wish you would talk. You know, you don't have to be loyal to him anymore, Dominique. You don't. He owes you. You know, you wanted to remain there. I get it. I understand. You were under control and you felt like you were in love. You felt like he loved you. And you thought that this was the way it was supposed to be. You were in between a identity crisis, you know, when you met him, and then he turned you out and yet still forced you to do things you didn't want to do. You need to speak out, Dominique. It's time. Come out. Write a book. Speak about it, baby. It's time to speak about it. It's time. I know you're living your life and healing and you want to just forget. I get it. But write a book, because you write very, very well. You should definitely write a book. I would definitely read it. I would definitely buy it. Definitely support you. Okay, guys, so we're on to the next chapter. Healing. My recovery hasn't been a comfortable one. Some days are harder than others. However, I'm in a much better space. I'm in a much better space. I have the support of my husband and my children. I'm happy with the way things are going. It's time to hold people accountable for their actions. My parents failed me. I tried to protect them as I got older. I made excuses for their actions. I tried to buy their love. All of that came back on me. It's not worth it. I want my children to be surrounded by good people who love them. I'm living my best life. I stopped smoking weed. That never helped with anything. It only made me hungry. You know, It's funny that she says that. But, to each his own. It doesn't always help everybody. It helps me relax, But if I'm going to get upset, I'm going to get upset because it's meant for me to get upset. But other than that, I'm chill, But congratulations to you, mamita. Then she says that I've been meditating for years now, which has helped me get through so much in life. Joseph has also been strong support for me. He's been by my side through everything. He's perfect for me. And our children love him dearly. Our marriage hasn't been the best, but it's made it through some of life's toughest times for us. Things didn't end with the Lifetime docuseries. I launched business J Pace Naturals, where I make natural body oils and body creams. R. Kelly's fans trashed my brand on launch day. There is a page on Facebook dedicated to trashing me and my business. The loyalty his fans have for him is ridiculous. It's not easy to recover from the damage they've caused, but I'm not going to give up on my business. My advice to survivors speaking out is, it's not going to be easy. Your voice needs to be heard. You are important, and your story will save lives. Be the person that you needed during your hard times. You are appreciated. Did you hear that, Dominique? Did you hear that, Joy? Yous are appreciated, and yous are unique. And any other girl who is a survivor out there of domestic abuse, child molestation, child abuse, sex trafficking, you are survivors. And speaking out is not going to be easy. But yes, your voices need to be heard. You are important. And your story will save lives. Be the person that you needed during your hard times. And I quote, you are appreciated. That was great, Jerhonda. You go, girl. You are the bomb. That's what we need. Women to stand up, stand forward. And in the ending of the book, she puts the National Suicide Prevention Hotline, the Lifeline number. And it is the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. And the phone number is 1-800-273-8255. SuicidePreventionLifeline.org. That's their website. SuicidePreventionLifeline.org. And if you are going through a domestic violence situation and you need help, the domestic violence help line is 1-800-799-SAFE. 1-800-799-7233. And their website is thehotline.org. Again, the website is thehotline.org. And she also leaves ways that you can reach her. You can reach her at JerhondaPace.com. Instagram.com/Jerhonda with 2 A's. And Twitter.com/Jerhonda Jerhonda with 2 A's. And that was the end of the book, guys. That was something else. You know, even though she knew what she was doing when she went after R. Kelly, she was curious. She wanted to know. She wanted to see what it was like. She wanted to know if it was really true. And I know she wanted to get her hooks on him. She did. But she didn't think that it was going to be that way that it was. She thought it was going to be something different. She just probably thought, all right, well, he got caught with the videotapes. All right, you know, maybe he recorded himself. You know, it's not like he was doing really child pornography and out there selling porn, and who knows what she was thinking. You know what I mean? That her curiosity sparked. And she saw his trial, and then a year later was invited, not even by him, but by one of his people from his entourage. Because she was in a R. Kelly group with Dominique on MySpace. You know? And, wow. So, guys, this is the final part. We are done with Coming Forward, The Abuse by Jerhonda Pace. And if you guys missed the first 4 parts, you can go back and in my playlist and go under Diva's Book Club. And there you will also find the read for Cash Jones' book, Daddy's Little Freak. And I hope you enjoyed this one. And I'm excited to start on the next book. I wanted to do Lisa Van Allen's book, so that's what I want to get into next. I hope you guys enjoyed the reading, and I hope you guys got a lot of information out of her book. And Diva the Divine Light is out. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Hit that notification bell on your way out. And make sure that you put it on all so that you can catch your girl's upload anytime she uploads. And Diva the Divine Light is out. Peace.